Hey guys, welcome back. So today we'll be discussing the first two episodes of What If. So as always, before we start, consider leaving a like, subscribe. If there's a bell icon next to that subscribe button, press that because it alerts you when a video goes live. And also, please share this video with friends as that helps support the growth of this channel. Let's dive into it. So episode 1 of What If is What If Captain Carter were the first Avenger. So, before we start, I want to ask George over here. For a debut of the first episode, was this strong or was this somewhat lacking in an area for a first episode? What are your thoughts?
I think it's a great topic to start on. It's really one that everyone was waiting for. It's key. It's cool to see the concept of how this has come forward. I would say of the two we've got so far, it's the weaker one, but it's still very good. Like it's still a good episode. I really enjoy all the animation style. That's great. I mean, that's the whole series in general. But there's the whole introduction with the Watcher and everything. Just being able to see this series that we've never thought was possible before come to light. It's
True, yeah, true. Before we start, there are gonna be some spoilers. If y'all haven't watched it yet, please go do yourself a favor. Watch this. Watch episodes 1 and 2 of What If. Not too long. Well, I mean, it's 30 minutes, so about an hour, but that's besides the point.
You got this. You can do it. You can watch it.
you can do it. Hey, y'all been Marvel fans for 10 years now. You don't think we can hold it? You can't think we can hold it in? We watched Endgame 3 hours. Y'all can't hold that in? Okay, so to me, I think this is why there are some to me the first episode has some pros and cons. I don't want to straight away just talk badly about the episode like the first one. I want to discuss the pros being, well, one, the animation. I really love it. Even with the first two episodes of a What If, even though it's animated, they're still able to capture those particular sets from past MCU movies. The color palettes they use for each episode, well, episode 1 and 2, it really reflects those movies. Really bright, over-the-top kind of bright colors in the Peggy Carter episode is to reflect that kind of 1940s aesthetic, that really out there, outlandish type of color.
Oh yeah.
Where with the Star-Lord episode, it's really leaning into those really cosmic, deep, vibrant type of colors to convey that cosmic galaxy-like feel. Episode 1 of Peggy Carter, with the Peggy Carter episode, yes. I like how the Watcher, who's played brilliantly by Jeffrey Wright. Love the narration. It's really ominous.
Yeah, it really fits it, doesn't it?
Something about him is like really off-putting. It's to just watches this thing play out almost like it's so inconsequential, but it does have these like ripple effects. And to me, what I liked about this first, I mean, at least the first episode and the second episode, they showcase how one change, though it may seem insignificant, has highly different outcomes for different characters. Since Steve was badly injured because of the fact that the Hydra attack was done earlier, and how he was injured, right? It had forced Peggy to kind of step into, and she had to fill those shoes in. That was cool. I really liked the action. That was one thing I wanted to say. The action was composed really well.
Yeah, all the action sequences so far have been really cool.
Yeah, it's really fluid. I would say the action sequences in episode 1 were really like well choreographed, and they got to do stunts, of course, like you can't really do in the movies, like Captain America hopping in the air with his bike and then kicking that into like a tower. Like obviously you couldn't do that in the movies because that would be quite a lot to pull off. But in the realm of animation, you're able to take those liberties that a budget can constrict you down to, or however much budget you have. With the animation, it also gives them that kind of leeway into, hey, we can do these cool, outlandish type of stunts, and it still will be bought because of the fact that this is like a superhero realm of infinite stories and possibilities, so the action can just tell its own story. I'm glad they got most of the cast back. I mean, from Haley Atwell to Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, they really did, yeah. That's really cool.
I also want to say shout-outs to Josh Keaton. He plays an amazing Spider-Man in Spectacular Spider-Man. I know this is weird to say this, but please, people, if you want to watch a good animated adaptation of Spider-Man, please watch Spectacular Spider-Man, because Josh Keaton really nails that voice. And everything I watch that and I hear Josh Keaton, I know I'm like, hey, that's Spider-Man. I hear Spider-Man. Even in Young Justice, he played a character that was literally just Spider-Man in a purple suit, and he kept saying lines like Spider-Man. So I was like, man, I know that's Spider-Man. Even he was trying to play a character that was not Spider-Man, even though good and goddamn well it was Spider-Man. But here, Josh Keaton, he plays a really good Steve Rogers. Rogers, his voice. I mean, for me, right? You can tell voices, and I feel like certain Noah North, Troy Baker, and Josh Keane, those are like voice actors. I can tell from their voice. Yeah, that's you. I know who you are. When Josh Keane plays Chris Evans, since they didn't get Chris Evans to play Skinny Steve, even though it's not Chris Evans, I still buy him as Steve Rogers, or at least the Skinny Steve character, which I liked and I adored. Ultimately, the problem that comes down to this first episode is the pacing, because I think they're just like, if you know First Avenger, this is the beats we're only going to specifically hit on. We're going to hit on the point A and B because you already know. We'll just slightly tweak it, and that's about it. Episode 1's pacing problem was not handled well because of the fact that we're kind of like, okay, yeah, we just like need to get to like from point A to B like really quickly, so we don't really have no time to like flesh out all this other stuff that needs to happen. It still was a nice episode, I think, for the first episode being a more female-led one, because it's Peggy Carter being the Captain America title, right? Or at least Captain Carter, Captain Britain, whatever the hell you want to name her, right? She was still able to hold her own even against the odds. And to me, also another like gripe about female hero stories is when there's always the stereotypical dialogue of like, women aren't heroes. Women only like do this and this. And I'm like, yeah, we've heard this.
I like some of the comedy that came off that, especially with like the big chief guy. He was like, "Yes, yeah, I told her definitely."
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's that stereotypical one where like the dude who didn't actually want it ends up being the guy who's like, no, I was campaigning for this the whole time. Y'all just didn't know, like, that sort of stuff. I mean, I like Howard Stark because they give him more time, like actually more time. Like he's almost the comedy relief character as well, but he's also the kind of guy that's like helps everyone in a way. And this segues into Steve because despite Steve being skinny, they show that no matter who he is in the realm of like whether he's skinny, whether he's a Captain America or not, he still is that hero. He still is a hero that will fight. And the moment they introduce him in the Hydra Stomper, which is basically the Ironmonger, or like the Mark One, I mean that's pretty cool. It's so cool to me. He's still a hero. He's still fighting the good fight, no matter whether he's skinny or not. And I really, really, really like that so much. I guess I want to say, were there any Easter eggs in this episode?
Mainly the second episode that has all the Easter eggs and stuff, but I don't really see as many in the first one.
I would say the first episode. If you really want to know what the Easter eggs are, it's pretty much the recreation of the same shots from the first Avengers movie, just like with the Captain, just Captain Carter's there, like that whole like bashing the door, like the Howling Commandos and all them bashing the door open. Instead of Steve, it's Carter there and all that sort of stuff. Pretty much everything's like beat for beat. But the thing they do new is in that story is that Red Skull doing that whole like plane invasion down on Earth, or at least like him like nuking all like the American like states and stuff like New York and all that. He instead summons this tentacle creature who's like, people say Shumagorath, it could be Shumagorath, but I don't know. That's up for speculation because hey, there are some rumors that Captain Carter might be appearing in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, so possible live action debut. We'll see what happens till then. I'm just throwing that out there, just because that's something I've heard, and a bit coincidental too, that this first episode had a tentacle creature, which has been also rumored to be Shumagorath, and that could also play into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So I thought that was a bit cool. I guess Peggy got her badass moment. You know, she takes that little sword and she's like slicing and dicing and all that. But then it sadly comes to a halt because like the more the creature comes out the portal, the more his tentacles grow and the more that he can like pretty much devour the world. Steve thinks he can like save her because like he's the one trying to be the guy in the ice instead of like Peggy in the ice type of thing, almost mirroring that. But like no, the suit powers on because of the fact that so this is something that people were a bit confused because in the earlier episode they had the Tesseract, but somehow or rather in the ending of the episode, like towards the end or at least the climax, Red Skull has it. Just to clarify real quick, the Hydra Stomper was being powered by the Tesseract. So people, if you ever wondered why the hell like Hydra had it, yeah, it was because of the fact that the Hydra Stomper was powered by the Tesseract. And if you guys didn't know, the reason why the suit's also colored blue, or at least the places where the Hydra Stomper glows blue, is because of the fact that it's being powered by the Tesseract. So later in the climax of the episode, when it's lighting up in yellow, it's because of the fact they're using the energy reserves from Steve's like prison, or at least where he was locked up at.
Yeah.
So they kind of have that almost mirroring before Steve falling in the ice, where Carter pushes like the creature into the portal, where she says, "You owe me another dance." It hits the feels like almost the same way Captain America First Avenger does. Me personally, it's not my favorite Captain America movie, just because I feel like it drags in certain parts, but that's besides the point. But then we get a post-credit scene, or at least before the credits end, almost the beginning of the first Avengers movie, and everybody's thinking, when the Tesseract opens that portal up, it's Loki. Loki's supposed to show up, but it's like, oh crap, Captain Carter comes through, and it pretty much mirrors the same exact first Avenger scene.
Ma'am, please put down the sword.
Sir, please put down the spear.
In this universe or in this time, Peggy Carter is the first Avenger, and she's like possibly the first recruit of this new Avengers team. So that's something I'm really like interested in. So it's almost like a bit bittersweet because Nick Fury's like the war ended, and then she's like almost kind of bittersweet. Like, she feels sad but also happy because like even though we won, like I guess the world is in some relative peace, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think overall, even though it wasn't the strongest episode for a first debut of the series, I still think it was still enjoyable. It has its moments.
I think it was pretty good. Yeah, it was a great entry. I think it was a bit rushed towards the end.
Yeah. They really were just trying to like chop up all that fat. They're just trying to trim it down as much as they can so they can just get a point B. I don't mind this episode. It's an enjoyable one. Not my favorites, of course. It's a bit weaker on the other end just because of like my few nitpicks. Overall, I think it's enjoyable, even though it's not one of their best. But that's all for episode 1. I will be moving on to episode 2, being what if T'Challa became Star-Lord. Now, this episode, I feel really pushed it.
Raised the standards. Yeah, it was. I mean, the first one was good, but the second one was amazing.
I've been hearing early reviews and like, what if is a good show because of the fact that each episode progresses. Each episode really like raises the bar every single time. Like you think, oh, like this story is mad. Wait till you see the next one. Wait till you see what next week's got to offer.
This episode it's a lot more outlandish. Like it doesn't make as much sense as in the original premise. It's like, why would you take T'Challa? Wait, hang on, that doesn't make so sense. But then like it does make a bit more sense when you kind of see into it, and it plays off really well. And you get to see all these interesting characters that you never got to see, and characters that you never would have thought would have turned out. Like Thanos, T'Challa being Star-Lord stopped Thanos from destroying the universe. That was honestly really cool to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you all right now. This episode should have been titled "What if T'Challa was the best goddamn Star-Lord?" out of Peter Quill, because he owns that title. I like the fact that T'Challa got more swagger, got more charisma, and got more of authority. Not authority, but he has more of that reputation compared to Star-Lord. Because when Peter Quill in that first Guardians movie was like, "Yeah, I'm Star-Lord,"
He's like, who? And then it's the exact opposite. It's like, I like how it starts the same, and then it's instantly changed when he goes, "Oh my god, Star-Lord! I'm such a big fan." And I think that was so cool, so good to see.
What I liked about this one, okay, of course, people already know this is the T'Challa episode, but the way they do it distinctly, it's almost subtle. I like the way they make it subtle. I like the little transitions as well. When you're seeing Watcher, he's in the puddle. You don't know it's a puddle until like T'Challa's feet taps on the puddle. I like the subtle details. I really love the subtle details. When you see pretty much the retelling of Star-Lord getting the orb, the Power Stone, it's different. The eyes aren't glowing red, it's purple, almost fitting the Black Panther aesthetic of how when his suit glows, it glows purple kinetic energy, and also how the heart-shaped herb, the juice that the thing he consumes to give him the strength is also purple in color as well. That's a nice detail. I really like how they incorporated all that sort of Wakandan fashion into Star-Lord.
Into the universe, yeah.
Yeah, how do they fit that Wakandan aesthetic into the space aesthetic, which I really liked. And yeah, we pretty much get nearly the same sort of like standoff sequence. What if T'Challa was Star-Lord? Yeah, sure, he had the reputation and all that, but it's like really I appreciated a lot about this episode was because of the fact that no matter the circumstances, no matter the environment around him, T'Challa still remains such a good person at heart because he really was able to change everyone. He's helped so many galaxies, even the fact like you have like some banter between him and Yondu where it's like Yondu was like, back in the old days we would just, like sell this to the highest bidder, but T'Challa was like, but now we can do so much more. We can help planets.
And it's also seen in like, there was an interaction between two characters. He goes like, "Oh, you're not in this business anymore." And he's like, "No, T'Challa's changed us." It's just really cool to see.
Yeah, that's so weird. It's like how like T'Challa's influence really hits the masses. It was just something that really was sitting in this was something I was really thinking about of. T'Challa is almost the mirror of Steve Rogers in terms of like a Winter Soldier type of Captain America, because I enjoy Captain America Winter Soldier more than the first Avenger just because I feel it nails his character. It nails his character in that movie so well. And I feel like those two, like Captain America and Black Panther, T'Challa, Star-Lord in this episode, he highlights Captain America, how he's a guy who has such a good heart in such a changing world, and he knows that there's more to the world than the destruction we can cause. let's help out people. And I like that he's still remained a hero at heart. And it's so touching and especially hearing Chadwick's voice, because he sadly passed away last year. Even like saying it, or at least like trying to like, get the words out of my mouth, it's making me like really emotional, because hearing him feels like we've not lost a beat. We've not lost a beat at all. It's almost like he's still with us. He's still in the room. No matter where he is, he's still like Black Panther. His presence is seriously felt, and I like that. So I mean, Korath was a bit unusual. I will say he was a bit too comedic, but at the same time, it's like, give him a break. This character has not gone any character since what, Captain Marvel? I'm pretty sure he made an appearance in Captain Marvel, but he was like barely in that damn movie. And in the first Guardians, he was just like henchman. That's it.
Yeah.
It was just henchman. So I mean, I give them credit where it's due. They at least try to spice up his character, because they go out to the bar and stuff. Sean Gunn's character, I forgot, like I was about to say Weasel, not from Guardians, the Suicide Squad. Wait, Sean Gunn. His name is Kraglin. Okay, Kraglin. Because Kraglin's like, how'd you stop Thanos from like, or at least Korath was like, how'd you stop Thanos from like decimating the whole planet? And Josh Brolin gives him a pat on the back and is like, we just had a debate, is all.
I think it's funny that they keep referring to him as Genocide Man. Like he making fun of him.
Yeah,
for
Captain Genocide. Yeah,
Captain
that's the thing. That's
Genocide,
like the overall joke.
I think that's funny.
So that nearly threw me off, but at the same time, I enjoyed it because of the fact that this episode, it was almost like a better version of the first episode, where they played fast and loose, even though it didn't make sense. You're still on board with it because of the fact that this was a heist episode mainly. This was like mainly just like heist. Hey, we got a plan. We got to do this and this, and this is how we're going about it. That was the most weirdest 180. I was like, Thanos is in this, and he's good. I was like, bullshit. It was the fact that they easily just wrote that off. It was like, yeah, T'Challa just like really had a good argument. That's about it. I'm not like, so you're telling me we just needed the Avengers to just like call T'Challa, just like, hey, you'll talk to this alien real quick. It's like, yeah, I got you. Do not worry.
Yeah.
And the changes go like even further from there. Drax is like a bartender, and I like the fact that they still keep his like character at heart, where he's like a very literal character. He doesn't like care what the hell you think. It's like, even when they took the photo and T'Challa's like, it's okay, I don't want to take another one. And it's like, and Drax is like, you looked horrible, but I looked amazing. It's like, I was like, so it's that's so cool.
Yeah, I liked his little cameo. Was that Dave Bautista? Did they keep the original guy?
Ooh, interesting story. Apparently, it's not Dave Bautista, because Dave Bautista, I'll give you this. Dave Bautista on Twitter, he's really vocal. Like he will voice out, and he doesn't care about the corporate, who's at the high table. Basically, he voices out. Twitter post or something like that from whoever about like the What If show, and he was like, "Yeah, I know, right? They didn't get me to voice Drax," and then everybody's like, "What?" But then like apparently Disney came out, or whoever, the people behind the show were like, it was because of miscommunication and all that sort of stuff. So we were unable to get him. So yeah. But I still did find whoever did the voice of Drax, they still nailed it on the head. I kind of bought it as Batista, because I was like, this still sound like Batista.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie, the 180 that caught me off guard was Nebula. I was like, God damn. I was like, woo! Because like, okay, the thing is, it's so weird to see Nebula outside of like, the dark brooding character I've been tortured for however many years, where she's like, Karen Gillan's having the time of her goddamn life playing this role. She's more lively, I'd say, this time around. I feel like they have chemistry, her and T'Challa, because like, she's like, Nebula, hey, and then he's like, he calls it not T'Challa, she calls it Cha-Cha, like, Cha-Cha. I was like, wow. It's like, hey, T'Challa's a player. I was like, nice. So yeah, then they plan the heist, right? So it's like they're like, hey, this is Ember of Genesis. It helps like rebuild planets in an instant just by like revitalizing it.
And then we get introduced to the Collector.
Oh, and Collector is jacked. Like Jesus.
Yeah. Also, I like how they got Benicio del Toro back to do the voice.
Oh yeah. They got like most of the cast back. Like even the girl, like what's the girl's? I don't know the girl's name, but the one that's,
I know, like the servant.
The servant, yeah, a Collector servant. It's like almost beat for beat the same dialogue she has. Like it felt familiar yet different, especially with the Collector character, which I like. They played more with his collection.
Yeah, I really liked it how he uses all his weapons with him and T'Challa. That was amazing. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was so well. Yeah, they did the Easter eggs like really. I think they did the Easter eggs really well. They didn't like make it too pandering or whatnot.
Yeah, but so Howard the Duck gets a whole lot of sequence.
Yeah, I mean, I think was they kind of did a bit, they did a bit more with Howard the Duck, not a lot, but a bit more. He's there trying to give T'Challa directions, and then I think T'Challa's just like screw it, just like opens his like lock up, and it's just like just give me the tour. I was like, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, because it's so big. Yeah.
One thing I found really cool was that, oh, at least cool to me was like the Black Order became Collector's servants now, or at least like his henchmen. I was like, shoot, that's pretty cool. Like utilizing those
And it was
characters.
cool to see. It was really cool to see Thanos fight them as well.
Yeah, I will say that my one nitpick was that Thanos was a bit. The thing is, Thanos is already strong without the gauntlet itself because he's like because he's born an Eternal.
Have you seen his chin?
I mean, the only person to make him bleed is Iron Man. So like his skin is dense. So I was like thinking Thanos would have like at least one up the few of the henchmen, or at least a few of the Black Order. Like I was expecting a bit more like hand to hand, like type of like beat down with him and Black Dwarf. Because I like Black Dwarf. I think he's the coolest one out of them all.
Was that what his name is?
Oh, the big one, the big dude. Because like his name is Cull Obsidian. The Marvel did some weird thing where like, they named him Cull Obsidian, but the Black Order, as they were known in the comics, was technically called Cull Obsidian first. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird thing. What else was there?
The whole he went back home and there was the ship.
Yeah, at the scene where like his necklace glows for a bit because of the fact like he was told earlier in the episode, or at least like when him and Nebula have like the talk before the heist, he talks about how Yondu did take him back to Earth, but Yondu said to him, with air quotes, "Wakanda is destroyed."
Yeah.
So it really just left T'Challa emotionally scarred. So him finding that Wakandan ship and knowing that they use the ships we pretty much seen Black Panther now being used for spacecraft.
Yeah.
When T'Challa's going through Collector's room and you see all the spaceships, you can see the Grand Master ship.
Yeah, I saw that. I noticed that. I was like, yo.
Yeah, a few of the ships on the lower deck, right, were from Thor Ragnarok. I'm pretty sure because like because I remember seeing some of the ships. I'm like, I'm pretty sure those were like from Thor Ragnarok. And then I saw some Nova Corps ships up in the air. T'Challa finds the ship. He sees the message from his father. And it's like, and it really, really hits that for the past 20 years that Wakanda has just been set on finding T'Challa, and like it's just like so sad. And then you get the whole like Nebula was like, "Oh, T'Challa, I'm sorry, but you're my payment." They get captured. T'Challa's like pretty much pissed at Yondu because of like you hid the truth from me for like all those years. But he was like, Yondu's like, the past is a prison. We're your new family now. But then T'Challa's like, no, you're not my family. T'Challa gets like caged up. He nearly gets killed by her. Well, he was one of the Black Order members. I forgot his, but he's the one with like the whole mind control thing. I don't know. I'm just gonna call him Squidward. Yeah, and then he gets like killed by the servant because the servant was like really felt by T'Challa's statement because of the fact like T'Challa what T'Challa said before about how people aren't treated too lightly when they're locked up in cages. Almost a bit of a reference to perhaps slavery. I don't want to like bite my tongue on that because it kind of was hinting at that for lack of better phrasing. Other stuff happened. Oh, I'm really trying to remember the episode because it just came out a few days ago. Oh, we get the sequence, the fight with like pretty much Collector. Just like, yeah, I got all like, how are you gonna stop me? I pretty much have all my weapons from the MCU.
That was awesome to see.
I just want to say, if any Korg fans out there, I really am so sorry for you guys because the Collector says the arm he's wrestling with T'Challa is from a Cronin's arm. But he also said, I took this off the corpse of a very chatty Cronin. So, I mean, rest in peace, Korg, in this universe, because that brother, I mean, man, I really pity Korg, man. His arm is literally being used as a punching glove at that point. Things that threw me off guard. He has Captain America's shield for some reason, which I really am interested as to how. Thor's hammer, which I really wonder how that happened, because, like, how did it end up there? But one thing I was really cool, he used, like, Hela's helmet.
He was like, from an Asgardian god. And that was cool.
Yeah. He was like, oh, the goddess has taste and all that sort of stuff. I was like, does Hela already exist in this timeline? Or maybe, what if this is pre-Thor? I'm thinking of Thor Ragnarok now because it just hit me. Because I remember seeing they had, like, the whole mural. Or at least when when Hela breaks the fake mural, it's the true mural of her and Odin's like conquering ages, right? And she was wielding the hammer as well during that time. So maybe Collector may have killed her. Some circumstances have led her to death, and that's maybe why Collector collected hammer and helmet. But, I mean, that sequence is cool.
That was one of my that's my favorite sequences. Was just so cool to see.
Yeah, I mean the Thanos sequence as well before it's like because they're trying to escape, but Thanos like, "I'll hold it off." Like he was like almost like, "I'm gonna sacrifice myself to help you guys like escape." And then Nebula's like, "Are you crazy?" And then Thanos just like looks at the camera, is like, "No, mad." That's like, okay, that's cool because like he's the mad type, and of course, like okay, it's an homage to that. That was sweet. But I mean, hey, my only concern was I was like, "Damn, Thanos, you're getting your ass kicked." Like, god damn, I thought you were a strong fool. I was like, maybe the T'Challa made him much more of a nice guy, so he wasn't too harsh on the fighting. Maybe I think Nebula comes to save him. Then she like pretty much kamikazes the planet because she like gives the Ember of Genesis into like one of the Black Order members. The planet pretty much is about to go to like hell. But then that fight sequence with him and Yondu was pretty dope as well because like it's really dynamic. I really like this like the 2-on-1 type of like combat. Yeah, that was. I mean, that scene almost hit me as well because of the fact that even though T'Challa knew the truth, or at least like no matter the differences between Yondu and T'Challa, even after the truth being broken, he was like, "Hey, that's still my kid," you know. He's like, "Hey, I'm not gonna let you take my kid and whatnot." So like, it's really hit me home.
It was sweet. I just overall really like What If so far. Just intrigued with where it will go. Liked all the little hints and everything.
Because they escaped to the Wakandan ship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the Wakandan ship, if I'm not mistaken. Then they head back to Wakanda. They all have a reunion. You have like everybody like dining together as well. I forgot what's the actor's name who plays one of Okoye. I'm pretty sure it's the same voice actor for Okoye because of the way she sounds. As he's like, that sounds a lot like genocide. And then Thanos like, it's just random, almost trying to like rectify it, or at least like trying to justify his end of things.
He's like, it sounds a lot like genocide. Well,
It's random. You get like a cool reunion, and I think one of Yondu's lines was like, "No matter the place in the world, no matter what galaxy, there's no place where you don't belong." Showing that, or at least it's telling T'Challa that you're such a good person that no matter where you are, you're always accepted for who you are, and the world always accepts you for that. And I was like, it's really sweet because of the fact that T'Challa's good heart has touched so many across the galaxy, and I think that's really cool. But we get the end credits, which I was like, no goddamn way, because I was so confused watching it, because I was like, am I like watching, like, I guess I didn't get it, because they were playing like some 80s music from the subtitles, and then you get Peter Quill's working at Dairy King, he's mopping the floors, and guess who shows up? The main man, Kurt Russell, Ego, he's like, he pretty much, because I was like,
because Kurt Russell reprises his role.
yeah, because Kurt Russell played Ego in Guardians 2. And I was like, because I remember seeing the trailer for What If, and I was like, Ego's in this. So are they going to do like a speed run of Guardians 1 and 2 for the T'Challa episode? And I was like, oh shit, they did it. Because it's almost the same dialogue. The same dialogue from Guardians 2 when Peter meets Ego, but it's just more sinister. And then the Watcher's like, yeah, this is going to be the end of the world. But tune in next time. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. Honestly, what were your thoughts for this second episode? Just throw them out there, bro.
Oh, honestly, it was just amazing. I just loved it. So heartfelt. There was so much love put into it with the animation, all the writing. You've got all just everything, all the Easter eggs. It was just really nice to see.
My honest thoughts were that the thing was, I never got emotional throughout this whole episode because I felt so happy hearing Chadwick's voice again. But when I saw the like end credits, or at least the ending of the credits where it said it was paying tribute to Chadwick, I was tearing up. His performance, it really hit me, and I like the fact that it reflected T'Challa's character, and I really give this to Marvel, like hats off to Marvel, where they did something innovative with the T'Challa character, how him being a good man comes a long way, even in the galaxy. It seriously hit me in the feels because of the fact like it's been this week has been such Black Panther synergy because of the Avengers game with the War for Wakanda DLC, but mainly with this, hearing Chadwick's voice really hit me because of the fact like a year since we've lost him. So hearing him again, it just hits me on like some sort of like personal level. I thought this episode was great as well because of the fact like it was playing it fast and loose, which might be a critique of some people, but I still think it was great overall. Even no matter what they threw at you in the story, you could say, yeah, it makes sense because of the circumstances. But I mean, overall, I think What If is on an interesting path so far. I really want to see how next week's episode is gonna raise the standards.
Yeah.
What's the week's episode after that raise the standards?
Do we have any idea about what the next episode is?
I've heard that the next episode, okay, because I watched Double Toasted and a podcasting group who got at least people who got early reviews for the What If series because they got the first 3 episodes. They said that the next week's episode, at least the third episode, is going to be something along the lines of a murder mystery. So I was like, that's interesting. I was like, murder mystery. I was like, okay.
Maybe that'll lead into the zombies.
Ooh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm really trying to like maybe it might lead to zombies. We don't know because like if there's one thing about What If, you don't know what sort of circumstances make the next episode. Basically, you don't know what type of scenario, what type of decision makes that episode. We'll wait till then. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Like we said before in the beginning, please like, please subscribe. There's a bell icon next to that subscribe button. Click it because it notifies you when a video of ours is live. Also, please share this with friends as it helps us grow on our channel. You stick around for more nerdy content. I got more stuff lined up. I have a few videos up along the pipeline I feel like letting out into the channel. One being a Black Widow rewrite. I made a rewrite of Taskmaster. So if y'all want to see that, I guess type rewrite. Or please stay tuned. And also, I am going to be making my Black Panther DLC review for the Avengers game. Just giving my overall thoughts. How did I feel with the DLC? And, well, did it help the Avengers game overall?
Okay, check it out.
So yeah, so stick around for that. As always, love you guys. And see y'all on the next one. Take care.
See ya.